Welcome to Keen on Keys. Today I want to show you the Yamaha SHS-10 from 1987. This was my very first keyboard. A friend of mine gave it to me in 1995. It was brand new and I was very happy to have it. I owned a few synthesizers before, but this was my first keyboard with accompaniment, built-in speaker and so on. The SHS-10 is designed to be played standing up, with a shoulder strap, like a guitar. Of course, you can play it on a stand or table, like any other keyboard, but then some functions may appear a little weird, like the inverted pitch bend wheel, the temporary FX switches, and some of the accompaniment modes. I saw one advertisement where Yamaha named it Gui-board, and I heard somewhere that it's called shoal key in Japan. But I guess the most common name for this kind of keyboard is Keytar. There are a few Keytars around. The SHS-10 has a bigger brother, the SHS-200. And I've seen a Casio, Roland, Alesis, Korg and some other models. Of course, this keyboard looks like a toy. It's not very heavy and a little bit too small for a grown-up. But it was designed to be played on stage, held like a guitar. And that's what I did. It had quite a hard time on stage. One time the belt holder broke and I had to fix the belt with tape. A lot of sticky tape. I can't remember why, but it was all over the keyboard. I removed most of the tape a few years ago, but I guess I've used nail polish remover, so a lot of the writing came off also. There's still some tape residue on the bottom side. The battery compartment lid is gone, and some keys are damaged. I really can't remember what happened to the MIDI output jack, but it's still working. I replaced the missing holder with screws. I will clean it a little bit and have a look inside. I've got this keyboard for more than 20 years now, but I've never opened it. There's a Datestamp. It was manufactured in December 1987. The screws that are holding the keys are hiding under this piece of plastic. I can't find any information about these ICs on the internet, but this one is the sound chip. It's the YM2420, a 2-operator FM chip. FM stands for frequency modulation, a special synthesis made famous by the Yamaha DX7. This chip has 9 voices, 3 for the 5 drum sounds and 6 for the main voice. As far as I know, the only other keyboard which is using the exact same chip is the Yamaha PSS-140. But the YM2420 is almost identical to the YM2413, which is a cost-reduced version of the YM3812 that was used in several Yamaha keyboards and Adlib and Sound Blaster cards. Let's start cleaning. It's time to remove these tape residues. But this time I'm going to be a lot more careful. First I'm going to use some oil. It isn't working for this kind of glue. But the glue of the little sticker comes off. I will use alcohol for the other tape stains. This will take a little. The glue is completely dried out. The keys need a little repair. One of the white and 3 of the black keys are broken. I hope some superglue will fix it. I will let it dry a bit. In the meantime, I will clean the rubber contacts. All parts are cleaned and ready for reassembling. It doesn't look like new. There are still a lot of scratches, but it's much better. Now let's have a look at the features in detail. Here's some facts first. It was manufactured in red, silver grey and black. It has 32 mini keys without velocity and aftertouch, but it's possible to transpose it 1 octave up and down. There are 25 voices. These are bread and butter sounds, nothing special. Quite simple but typical 2-operator FM sounds. An accompaniment section with 25 styles, each 2 bars, 3 fill-ins and synchro start ending. 6 different accompaniment modes. A pitch bend wheel, some effects, and a chord sequencer. The demo is Wham's Last Christmas. I've made a short video if you want to listen to it. It's got a MIDI out, a power jack and a headphone jack, but the output is mono. Let's play some voices. The default sound is synth. The pitch bend wheel is inverted. When you pull it down, the pitch goes up. But you can change it, as well as the range. Hold the wheel up or down and change the range with the plus and minus buttons. You can change the direction with negative values. Trumpet. With vibrato. The whistle is nice with portamento. The glide time is adjustable. Hold down the portamento button and change the value. You can create theremin-like sounds with portamento and vibrato in combination. Horn. With sustain. It's a bit short. Reed organ. With vibrato. Sounds a little bit like a 60s transistor organ. Piano. Sounds more like a steel drum than the actual steel drum preset. E-piano. That's nice. Celesta. Violin. Typical FM strings. I like it. The cello is even better. Rock guitar. That should have been named something like Funny or Frog. Although, yes, Funny or Frog. Trombone. Saxophone. I like it, but this has nothing to do with the saxophone. Transpose it down, like a saw bass, and even lower. Yes. Flute. And harmonica. I will play some more sounds later. Now let's have a look at the styles. There are 6 different modes. Some of these modes are quite special and unique, due to the fact that this keyboard was designed to be held like a guitar. First is the normal mode. We have a beat and the main voice, with up to 6 notes at a time. In auto bass chord mode, we have just the accompaniment, no lead voice. You can use the whole keyboard for the chords. If you don't start the rhythm, you can play chords manually with the sounds depending on the selected style preset. Only standard chords are accepted, like major, minor, major 7th, minor 7th, 7th sustained 4th, diminished, augmented. Nothing in between. Let's try Fusion 1 with the synchro start. If you press synchro ending during playback, a little 3-bar outro will be played. Rhythm and Blues 2. You can also start with a fill. If you press a fill button before the end sequence is over, the accompaniment will play on, so you can use the outro as an extra fill. Slow rock. You can re-trigger the accompaniment pattern by playing the same chord an octave higher or a chord inversion that's higher. This way you can change the patterns a little bit. You can make them simpler if they are too complex. Only higher inversions work. Dixie. You can adjust the accompaniment volume. in 6 steps from 0 to 5. Boogie Woogie. If you want a lower accompaniment, transpose it down. If you press plus and minus at the same time, it will jump back to 0. This one's called Hard Rock. Reggae. Samba. Tango. Country. March 1. Lullaby. The only straight waltz. Baroque. It has no drums, you can only start it with synchro start. Fanfare. The third mode is melody on ABC. We have the full accompaniment plus a mono lead voice. This is a very special mode. I can't remember if any of my other keyboards has a similar mode. There's no key split point as usual. You can play chords and melody on the whole keyboard. And that makes totally sense. The keyboard is optimized to be played with the right hand only. And with 2.5 octaves and a split point, there wouldn't be much keys left for the melody. The left hand is for the pitch bend, FX and rhythm controls. When a chord is played, the main voice will not sound. It's a little bit tricky, and it only works with melodies that don't have a note on the first beat or require to hold a note over a chord change. Let's try it with Rock and Roll 2. Next is the auto bass mode. The chords are left out. We have drums and bass and a polyphonic voice, so you can play your own chords. Some accompaniments don't sound very well with certain chord progressions. Swing guitar. The next mode is the auto chord mode. Drums and chords and a monophonic voice. The fundamental note of each chord is played every time you press a chord, no matter which chord inversion you play. so you can change chords and play your own bass line. I'll use Voice 24 wood bass, unfortunately the only bass sound. Rock and Roll 1. The last mode is the single finger mode. Press a single key for a major chord. Add a black key to the left and you'll get a minor chord. A white key to the left makes it a 7th chord. And press a white and black key to the left for a minor 7th chord. We also have a chord sequencer with 3 memory banks. This is a nice feature. The melody on ABC mode isn't really easy to handle. And if you want to play melody notes at the same time the chord changes, it's useless. Here comes the chord sequencer into play. You can record up to 150 chords in each bank. Push record and play 1, 2 or 3 at the same time. Now the recording will start if you press a key. You should play a chord, because melody notes are not recorded. But if you want to create an intro with drums only, you can press a single key. Fills and ending will be recorded. Tempo and style changes will not be recorded. You can record a whole song to one bank, or use the banks for different song parts like verse, chorus and bridge for example. When you finish a recording with the stop button, the recorded sequence will be looped at playback. If you stop the recording with a synchro ending, the ending will be recorded, and also the playback will stop when it reaches the end. For playback, just press play 1, 2 or 3 to start the sequencer. And now we will discover that there's a 7th mode. You can play the melody with 2 voices. The YM2420 sound chip has 9 voices. 3 are dedicated to the 5 drum sounds, the chords and bass occupy 4 voices. So there should be 2 voices left for the melody. And here they are. I'm wondering why they made the melody on ABC mode just monophonic. The MIDI Out is one reason why this keyboard is still very useful and popular. You can use the Keytar to control other MIDI devices like sound expander, sampler or sequencer. All parts of the accompaniment are transmitted on separate fixed MIDI channels, but you can adjust the MIDI channel for the manual performance. Program change, start, stop and tempo informations are also transmitted. I will connect my sampler for a quick example with Rhythm and Blues 1. And finally, a little multitrack recording. I use the Bossa Nova style, but it's too slow. I will speed it up a little. the end I have to say, this keyboard looks great. It looks like a toy, of course, but it looks great. The sounds are a little bit disappointing. Most of them are quite boring and lifeless. And I would have expected something else from a keyboard looking this way. A few more sophisticated guitar and lead sounds. And at least one more bass sound. I've got some other Yamaha keyboards with 2-operator FM chips, and in one of my next videos I will show you that there are a lot more interesting sounds possible with this kind of chip. I like most of the style patterns, but I miss some disco or dance rhythms. This is just the stuff you will find in any average keyboard of that time. The melody on ABC mode is quite unique, but it's not easy to handle. It is still very useful and sought after because of the MIDI output. I have to say that I've never used the onboard sounds on stage. I always used a MIDI expander or sampler. However, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.